So, you think you want a Belgian malinois part two? Look at him. You wouldn't think butter melted, would you? So, yes, he has just been out for 2.5 hours with little Nolly Bull Terrier. He also went out first thing this morning, straight after the school run for an hour and a half. So he's clocked up to 4.5 hours, and it's already today, and it is only just gone past 2:30. So we get up at 4 a.m. as a rule, and that usually is him sitting over me because he sleeps on my bed. He will sit over me and while I'm asleep, and he will pant excessively. Get up, get up. And if I don't respond in good time to his heavy breathing over me, he will usually go find his Kong. His Kong's usually in my bedroom because at bedtime, when I'm wanting to chill out, meditate, watch my Emma Kenny crime cult on YouTube, he won't leave me alone. So on a night time, when I want to go chill out after his day of many walks, training, all that sort of stuff, he'll get his Kong filled with treats, usually black pudding sticks, and he'll have that at night time, and it keeps him quiet. It takes him a long time to get everything out because I pack it really tightly, and he's quite satisfied with that. So if the heavy panting at 4 a.m. has not woken me up, then comes the Kong dropping on my head and my body, and he will literally just keep picking it up and dropping it on me and doing these little moany barks and little come on, and he wiggles his bum whilst he's sat over heavy panting, dropping the Kong on my head. So we get up, and then I feed them straight away. I let them out for a wee, get the food ready, put the kettle on. So, and then he'll come in and he'll have his breakfast. Now, I always like to leave my dogs a good hour and a half after they've eaten before we exercise. Obviously, I have the school run to do, so I've got kids to get ready. So, whilst I'm having my first coffee, he'll usually go find himself a bullhorn, sit down, give that a good chew. Once it gets to about 7 a.m., if we've got up at 4 o'clock, we're talking about 6 a.m. here. And I'll sometimes be on to my second coffee then. He'll be sat here, like trying to engage with me, get me to play with toys. He usually finds a piece of string. He likes to play tug of war. And then obviously I've got to go on the school run. So school run days are super hard for Zippy because he's got to be extremely patient, especially if we've got up at 4 a.m. Now on weekends, when the kids are off school, I'll be out by 5:30, 6 o'clock with this guy on Pearson Park, or I'll get my bike out. I'll put on his, he doesn't wear his prong when we're out on the bike. He wears his blue collar that he's got on now, and I put a harness onto him, and we'll get out on the bike, and we'll be out for 2 hours on the bike. We'll sometimes go to the woods and cemetery after having a bit of a street ride, and then, or we'll go off to Oak Road, across the 4 fields, up by the river, round the lakes, and then back home again on the bike. Or we'll go up to the allotments, which is a good 3-mile ride. He runs, and we'll spend the day at the allotments, and then he runs back home again. So the days that I'm at work and he cannot come out with me, I like to have him out for at least an hour and a half on a morning. So straight after the school run, Dilly usually goes on the school run with me. That's my English Bull Terrier. He's got to behave himself for like 15 minutes in the house on his own, which he absolutely hates. He hates me going out the door with Dilly without him, especially if the kids are with me. But he's not allowed on the school run because all the little kids make him all super prey drive kicking in, or excitement kicking in, or I want to go run after all these kids and join in, and he isn't allowed. So he's not allowed on the school run. So I come home from the school run and he is straight out the door. I don't have time to have a coffee, go for a wee or anything. It's like, I am ready now, bitch. Get me out. So we go out. So a normal walk on a morning would consist of, if we're not out on the bike for a quick blast around, or even if we do go out on the bike, we have to go to a park or field to play ball. This guy, let me put it this way, you do not want to be taking one toy out with you and losing it, because then you've got a malinois who isn't particularly focused. Now, his engagement is amazing. His engagement with me is amazing. He is not interested in what other dogs are doing. If I am willing to engage with him, he's there 1,000,000%. That's ball, that's stick, that's his Kong with a string in it, that's the ball on a string, that's getting a stick and throwing a stick, that's flirt pole, that's Kong and groundwork, that's ball and groundwork. So if I'm at work, what I have to do is I take him out in the morning, and then I'm back now. He has been out today because it's Tuesday and Fridays. He then goes back out to work with me after his walk, and we walk for another 2 hours. So he gets between 3 and 4 hours on a Tuesday and Friday, which is super stuff. So say tomorrow on a Wednesday, he would go out in the morning. As soon as I finish work, he has to go out, and then he will get walked again later on. What happens when I'm not well? Well, when you're not well, you're not well. But this guy can't go. He can go a day. Sometimes if I try and give him a break on a Sunday, which even if we have a break on a Sunday, he still goes out Sunday morning on the bike for a good 2-hour runabout, where I bike all over on the bike and he's running just across fields and up by the river and up by the lakes. Being poorly isn't an option with one of these dogs. If I fell and broke my leg, I would be up shit creek with no paddles with this boy, because not walking him is not an option. If you want to stay sane, you've got to walk him. Otherwise, he'd be here, just like this, pecking at you. And that's what the malinois does. It pecks at your brain. It pecks at your patience. It just pecks at you until you are motivated to do something. But this is what, you need to know before you go out and get one of these guys. They're super cute. They're super lovely as puppies, until you get the little thing home and it just wants to bite you. It just wants to terrorize you. It just wants to terrorize everybody else. So yeah, obviously he attracts quite a lot of attention as well. Zip doesn't like to be touched by people he doesn't know. Zip doesn't like people approaching me who he doesn't know, which, people stop and talk to me all the time. If I stop and talk to somebody and he's had enough of standing around, which usually lasts about 30 seconds because he wants to crack on, we've got things to do, he's a busy boy, he will start grabbing the lead and playing tug of war to try and pull me away from the person. If he's off lead, he's very, very good. He's got great recall. But what he will do is, if a dog tries to approach us, he will turn on a sixpence and he will gun after that dog, and he won't attack it. But what he will do is he will chase it away. And if it tries to circle back round to come towards me, he will intercept it and he will chase it off. And once it's got 3, 4, 5 meters away from me, he'll come back to me. If I shout him, he'll come back to me. But he doesn't like anybody near me. So if we are out on Pearson Park and one of my walking gang's on there with their owner and they're off lead and that dog wants to come over and say hello to me, Zip's not going to allow that to happen. Nobody can approach me at any time when I'm out with this dog. He's that protective. But that is what he was bred for. I'm not going to take that away from him, but we manage it. We manage it with good training and giving him good life skills and getting the exercise, the pent-up energy exercised out of him. As long as he's mentally and physically stimulated, they're really, really good dogs. But you've got to put the work in, and it's not easy. Like I say, it can be out for 3 or 4 hours. We come home. in 20 minutes, he will be sat here with a toy, ready to have a game of tug and war. We do a lot of in-house play. Like, I will, on an evening, I'll make him sit in the hallway, I close the living room door, I hide his toy in the living room or kitchen, and then I bring him in, and then he'll go around and find it. If we're not doing that, we're playing tug of war. He'll just sit here and play tug of war. If we're not doing that, it's ball, throwing the ball into the kitchen, getting him to go for. If I've got anything to do like washing, hoovering, filled Kong, chuck him it. He'll play with that for a bit. That gives me a little time to do things that I need to do. If I was to describe a Belgian malinois, I would describe a 6-year-old antisocial child with ADHD that doesn't like anybody other than its mother. And you can't leave this child with anybody because it's just way too much responsibility. You know, what would I actually honestly do if I couldn't walk this boy myself? I don't know, because you just can't put this machine into somebody else's hands and say, oh, like my eldest who's 16, Vincent, would you take Zippy out for me? It's not happening. I can't put that much responsibility onto my son because I know how he is. Now, he was for a little time very reactive with bikes, guys going past us on Newland Avenue super fast on bicycles. That's how it came about that we started going out on the bike to stop the bike reactive behaviour. And it solved it. He's such a pro when we go out on the mountain bike. I absolutely love it. He loves it. We love to go really, really fast. We have a couple of different routes we do. And he's really good with his commands, verbal commands. He'll come in and heel when I'm on the bike. But that just doesn't happen. That's taken a good 9 months to get him to the point where he is now. He's only 15 months. If anybody comes into the house who Zip doesn't know, I tend to put him on a lead and I keep him with me. And rather than putting him in his crate, I like to pop him on the lead, keep him at my side, and he becomes much more relaxed. With dogs like this, you have to put trust into them. You can't be like, oh, no, my God, no. You've got to teach them a better way of doing things. And he's getting better. He's getting better with age. You know, my son, my eldest, he has girlfriend. His friends come over on a weekend. And he's pretty good with some of Vincent's friends now. He doesn't like men so much, only because this is partly my fault, but I don't have a lot of guys in my house. I'm a single mum. I have my 3 kids. I like to be at home with my children and my dogs. And he doesn't like men approaching me whatsoever. He actually thinks he's my husband. He's like my husband. He's like a jealous, stalkering husband. That pretty much sums up the Belgian malinois. Extremely protective, has always got his eyes on everything. You can't hide anything from this dog, and that's the same when you're outside. He is constantly watching everything whilst also engaging with me, whilst also chasing a ball, catching a ball, you fucking name it. His eyes are everywhere. We actually suit each other really well because I'm Virgo, and Virgos are very much like that anyway. I'm very high energy, so we match each other well. I love the outdoors. I have to be outdoors every single day, otherwise I start to get cabin fever. So I can slightly relate to Zip. You know, this guy, he thinks he's a police dog. He thinks he's part of the SAS. He wants to be the law and order on the streets. If somebody's going past on a skateboard, you'll know about it. If somebody's going past on a bike, you will know about it. If somebody's doing something that he doesn't like, you will know about it. They are extremely intelligent. He's like a ninja who's extremely intelligent, who's got the shit to back it up as well. He really has. But he's a cracking dog to me. He's everything that I ever wanted in a best friend. And That's the reason why I got him, because I knew that I could provide him with what he needs forever. And that's where most people go wrong. They think, oh, yeah, I'm going to get this dog and I'm going to be the most awesome person for it. And then they get bored. They get bored, or they don't put the effort in and the training. And then the dog gets left. And then the dog starts destroying stuff. Zippy hasn't destroyed anything in my house apart from his own toys. Even when he was created, he's just a good boy. He's just a good boy. But that's because I put so much hard work into him. Yeah. Just don't do it. Don't get a malinois unless you are 100 million% committed to that dog.